number 42. Cora, were you able to did you use the video or did you get notes from somebody? Did you get notes from somebody? Did you get your notes from yesterday? I'm just asking, did you get them? Did you get them from the video or did you get them from somebody? Excellent. I'm just making sure the video is working for those of you that use the video. All right. I'm going to do that. So this is page 237. You said what number, sweetheart? 42. Thank you. So if I take a look at 42, 42 said I have negative 5c over 3 minus 4c over 15. Okay. I would always put the negative on the numerator, not the denominator. All right, so we have a negative, which is what we have here. I'm going to do adding the opposite here. All right, so what we actually have is a negative 5c over 3 plus negative 4c over 15. So I need to do my equivalent fraction work. I'm going to do this off to the side. Did you use a common denominator of 15? Awesome. So I have to multiply my fraction by 5 over 5, and I end up with 25c over 15. I'm going to come back here and rewrite my fraction. So I have negative 25c over 15 plus a negative 4c over 15. Are you cool so far? Okay. So now I'm just going to add these. I have a negative 25c plus a negative 4c. That gives me a negative 29c over 15. All right, when we have a c, when we have a variable in the numerator or a variable in the denominator, we leave that fraction as a simplified improper fraction. We don't change it into a mixed number. So that's going to end up being our simplified fraction because 29 and 15 do not have a common factor. Are you cool with that? Awesome. What else can I do for you guys? Sarah? 38. Let's take a look at 38. All right, 38 said I have 3a over 2 minus a over 6. All right, well, 6 would be, did you use 6 as a common denominator? Awesome. So off to the side, I'm doing 3a over 2. I'm going to multiply that by 3 over 3 to get 9a over 6. So I'm going to go back into my original and rewrite that fraction. So I have 9a over 6 plus a negative a over 6. If I have a negative a, what is my coefficient? Matthew? Yeah, since I did adding the opposite, it's a negative 1, right? Original is a positive 1. So a 9a plus a negative 1a gives me an 8a over 6. While I'm not going to turn that into a mixed number, I can divide out common factors between the 8 and the 6. They both have a common factor of 2. The 8 becomes a 4 and the 6 becomes a 3. So I have 4a over 3. So I do want to divide out common factors. Yep. Yes. Nope. Because these are, if this was like 3a over 2 minus 6a over, or 8a over 6, or 11a over 6, I would like you to do adding the opposite on that, because the bigger number is at the end, you know what I mean? But this one, not necessarily. What else can I do for you guys? You guys cool so far? Okay. Oh, you got one? Yeah, please. I didn't drop a negative symbol. Yes, the bigger number was positive. No, I'm glad that you're looking because I do make mistakes like that, so thank you. All right, get your notes out. Okay. So we are still, today's the 14th, we are still in 5.3, so 5.3 continued. Adding and subtracting, unlike fractions. adding and subtracting unlike fractions. And our focus today is going to be on mixed numbers. All right, I want to remind you, only because when we were going over homework yesterday, this is something that people forgot. All right, it's really important that you remember that when we are adding numbers with different signs, we are actually subtracting their absolute values. And it's the bigger absolute value minus the smaller absolute value. It's not the bigger number minus the smaller number. It's the bigger absolute value minus the smaller absolute value. I know you guys mastered that with integers. You just have to remember with fractions it's the same thing. Alright, let's just practice a couple of these. Alright, the book does change mixed numbers into improper fractions. And while that is a method to solving these and to simplifying these, I will not allow it. Because that's the easy way to do it. I want you guys being able to work with mixed numbers. Okay. So I want you to simplify this problem. Negative 4 and 2/5 plus a negative 2 and 6/11. All of you do that work, please. So off to the side here, I should see you doing equivalent fraction work. Help each other out. Work on it together if you need to. Check your answers when you're done. Talk it through. What common denominator are you going to use here? Sophia? Yeah, 55. So what am I going to multiply my 2/5 by, Sophia? 11 over 11, I got 22/55. What about the other one? 5 over 5, and I get 30/55. So now I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this vertically. They're both the same sign, so I can just go ahead and add them. So I have 4 and 22/55 plus a negative 2 and 30/55. So 22 plus 30. Sophia, what's 22 plus 30? So I have 52/55. And then what's negative 4 plus negative 2? Negative 6. 52 and 55 do not have a common factor. So that is it. This is all the work that I should see. Questions? All right, let me give you guys another one. I want you to simplify. So I have negative 6 1/3 plus 2 3/5. Go ahead and do this, please. All right. So what's my first step in simplifying this? Colin?
First you find a common denominator.
What common denominator are you going to use?
I use 15.
Awesome. So tell me what you're going to do to 1/3.
So the 1/3 you're going to multiply by 5/5. And you're going to multiply 3/5 by 3/3.
Excellent. All right, so I end up with, I'm just going to rewrite what I have here just so I can see it. So I have negative 6 5/15 plus 2 9/15. I'm just going to write it like that just so I can see what I have. Now, Colin, what is the math that you're actually going to set up?
You're actually going to set up 6 5/15 minus 2 9/15.
Excellent. Now what?
First you have to, 5 isn't enough to be subtracted by 9, so you have to,
Borrow?
borrow.
Excellent.
You have to borrow from 6 to make it 20 over 15.
All right, one of the things I want to make sure that you're doing is that you are showing that you're adding 15/15 to 5/15, okay? Don't just jump right to 20. I want to see this step. But I totally agree with you. So I now have 5 20/15 minus 2 9/15. Please make sure you're showing me that. That's part of your work. I want to make sure you know what you're doing. Now what, Colin?
So now you just subtract.
And what do you get?
3,
It's okay.
3 and 11/15.
All right. Is that going to be positive or negative when I'm all done?
Negative.
Why?
Because the 6 had a greater absolute value than negative.
Excellent. Perfect reason why. Nice work. Yes. Shh. Okay, so let me ask you something. if I gave you this, if I gave you 11 plus a negative 35, what math are you actually doing in your head? I dropped the negative off, didn't I? Because remember, you're subtracting the absolute values. So when you take the absolute value of negative 6 and 5/15, it's a positive 6 and 5/15. When you take the absolute value of 2 and 9/15, it's a positive 2 and 9/15. And that's what I'm subtracting is the absolute values. So it's not just that I'm dropping it off. I'm doing that absolute value work. Remember? Yep. Okay. Let me give you guys another one to do. So let's do, totally going to make this up. We'll see how this goes. So let's do negative 2 and 1/2 plus 1 and 2/3 minus 4 and 1/6. All right, here's the deal. Only add, because in the end we're going to change everything to addition, only add two numbers at a time. I would get into that habit, particularly here, because there is subtraction going to be going on. All right, because we do have to add numbers with different signs. So you're only choosing, grab two at a time. All right, all of you do this, please. So you only should be doing two at a time. Okay. I have story problem that I want you guys to do, so I want to make sure I give you time to do it. So tell me, what's the first step? Even if you're not done, what's the first step in me doing this? Cameron? Excellent. So I use 6. Are you cool with 6? Okay. So what am I going to multiply 1/2 by? 3 over 3. So I get 3/6. How about 2/3? So I get 4/6. So Cameron, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this, the original. So I have negative 2 and 3/6 plus 1 and 4/6 plus a negative 4 and 1/6. Are you cool with that? Awesome. Now you guys, it's addition. So you can add them in any order you want. How many of you guys thought to add the negative numbers together first? Okay, that would have been super smart, right? Because then you're only doing addition, the subtraction once. Since the rest of you didn't, I'm going to go ahead and do it the way, how many of you added these in the order in which they were given to you? All right, we'll show that, but for those of you that didn't, I would have done adding the negative numbers together too first. It just makes for a little bit easier work. All right, Cameron, so tell me what you did. Excellent. Now what? right, so I have to add 6, 6 to it, right? So make sure you guys are showing that you're adding 6, 6 to your 3, 6. So I end up with 1 and 9, 6 minus 1 and 4, or minus 1 and 4, 6, right? Awesome. What do you get when you simplify that? So I just get 5, 6. Is that positive or negative? So it's a negative 5, 6. Question so far? So now what we end up having, and I'm just going to rewrite this, I have negative 5, 6 plus a negative 4 and 1, 6. So now I'm going to go ahead and line that up vertically. So they're both negative, right? All right, so I'm just going to do 4, negative 4 and 1, 6 plus negative 5, 6. Now please keep in mind, this is a negative 5, 6, but this is not negative 5 plus a positive 1. All right, so if it helps you, drop the negatives off. Just add those two numbers together and then put the negative on at the end. I need you to make sure that you understand that. This is not a negative 5 over 6, so you would have a positive 1 plus a negative 5. You know what I mean? All right, you just have to add all of that together. So Cameron, when I add those two together, what do I end up getting? Yep, 4 and 6 over 6, and it's going to be negative. So what is my final answer? Negative 5. How many of you guys got negative 5? Awesome. If you didn't get negative 5, please find your error. Questions on this problem? Okay. I'm going to show you a story problem. Remember, for any story problem, no matter what type it is, you're setting equations up. All right, so let me remind you when we're talking about story problems. You're always going to do parts equal to your whole. But keep in mind, our whole sometimes, well, first of all, it can be the total of what we're measuring, but it also can be a final amount. When we have a final amount, that means one of our parts is the beginning amount. So keep that in mind. When we have a final amount, that means our beginning amount is a part. Are you guys cool with that? You guys remember us talking about that before? Yes? Okay, so let me show you this. So this is the given. The question for what you're answering will be on the next page. Actually, no. Here's the whole problem. So here is the problem I want you to do. All of you do this, please. Once you're done doing this on your own, talk to someone sitting by you, make sure that you got it right, Make sure you got your game plan right. Remember, it's parts equal to your whole. What's my game plan? Even if you're not finished doing your math, what's my game plan? Alex?
The distance you already hiked plus the distance to hike equals miles per hour.
Excellent. All right, I don't know my distance left. There's my x. So if I put these in, Alex, I have 5 and 3/4 plus x is equal to 10 and 1/5. Is that correct? Awesome. How many of you guys got that game plan right and that equation right? Awesome. All right, Alex, go ahead. What am I going to do to finish solving this?
So you have to find the common denominator.
Excellent. What did you use for a common denominator? So what did you multiply your 3/4 by? So I have 15/20, and then what did you multiply the other one by? All right, so I'm just going to rewrite this. So I have 5 and 15/20 plus x is equal to 10 and 4/20. All right, Alex, now what, sweetie? Okay, go ahead. I'm going to move this because it's going to be in my way, I can tell. All right, well, first of all, I'm going to show that I have to add a negative 15/20 to both sides, right? Or subtract 15/20 from both sides. And I totally agree with you. So I'm going to take that 10, I'm going to make it a 9. I'm going to add 20/20. And I end up with 9 and 24/20. Is that right, Alex? Minus 5 and 15/20. All right, keep going, sweetie. 24 minus 15? Okay, and what do you get?
9.
Excellent. 4. So I would write as my answer, you have 4 and 9/20 miles left to hike. How many of you guys got that? Awesome. You guys cool with this? Questions? Valentina? I don't know how you did it differently. Can you tell me what that means? Okay, so do you remember when I said when we're doing story problems you have to do parts equal to your whole? Okay, so if you did 10 and 1/5 minus 5 and 3/4, that means you're doing your whole minus your part equals a part. So you have to set up, you guys sit still, you have to set up your game plans parts equal to your whole. I'm not saying that if you were given this randomly, sit still, all of you. I'm not saying that if you were just randomly given this in the world to figure out, you're out with your mom and dad, that you just simply wouldn't do that subtraction. I'm not saying that you can't find the answer that way. Part of my job is to get you prepared and get you focused on algebra. Doing it that way, while it is correct, that is how you learn to do it in 5th grade and 6th grade, where it's just arithmetic. I'm training you to be an algebraic thinker, which means that you are writing equations for things. So these are simple problems in the structure of them. But if I don't teach you on simple problems how to write game plans and how to think about game plans and writing equations. When they get harder, you simply won't be able to do it. So I need you remembering when you're doing a story problem and you're writing a game plan, it has to be parts equal to the whole in my room. Yeah, but if your equation is not 5 3/4 plus x is equal to 10 1/5, then you did not write your equation properly. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say to you. Okay, you guys can go. Odds, you can go.